Hey guys, welcome to episode 28 of The Doctor and the Dork. This is Frank here with our co-hostess Olivia.
Hello, everybody.
I have that so well practiced at this point.
Yeah, that's your second week in a row getting it on your first try.
I truthfully think we should start pre-recording the intro.
We should just merge it with AJ's intro music.
Oh.
But then we always say what number it is, so you can't do that.
That is true, yeah. Well, I don't know. Do we have to announce it every time?
The weather outside is frightful. Figured I'd kick us off with a Christmas carol to get us in the mood.
That is right, folks. It is Christmas week. We got T-minus 3 days?
It's 3, 4, yeah.
Yeah, 3, 4 days. Yeah, 72 hours, guys.
Today really Tuesday, or are we recording this early? Okay.
Yeah, it is Tuesday
guys,
already.
I'm all sorts of confused on the days of the week.
Olivia is all kinds of distraught, guys.
Yeah, I am distraught. We've got So let me ask you a question, those of you in a relationship. Are you the Grinch or are you the Cindy Lou trying to promote the Christmas spirit? Because I am the Cindy Lou, and I
am the Grinch.
Is a bit of a Grinch.
I am a grouch. I'm a Grinch.
I'm over here baking cookies for the neighbors, trying to get in the holiday spirit, and Frankie thinks, you know what he tells me? You know you didn't have to do that. I know I didn't have to bake cookies for the neighbors, but I wanted to.
Oh, guys. She doesn't do this all year, and then out of nowhere, she's suddenly motivated.
Number one, I bake for you and some of the neighbors all year round.
What? You didn't bake nothing for the neighbors.
I bake Ed stuff all the time, and I baked Adele muffins or something one time, and then never brought them over and then threw them out.
That's great.
Sorry, Adele feels this. You should give Adele a link to our pod. She'd listen.
So...
She might call you with a few questions.
She's going to be mad. She's going to be like, why did you bake me muffins and then not bring them over? All right, guys. So we didn't really have too much of a week in review, but Olivia, why don't you take us away? Because we have some good news.
About our episode 30?
Yes.
So, exciting news, guys. We are going to have a guest in episode 30. I would argue this guest is probably going to be our guestiest of guests so far.
Yeah, I think it'll be the most formal.
It might not though. Either.
I look forward. You want to
we can say so. Our guest for episode 30 is going to be Don. Shout out Don. He's somebody I know from.
Well, what's his last name? Because he's a comedian, right?
Maybe he doesn't want people to know. I'm going to see. I'm going to let him broach that topic.
That's true.
So we're going to let Don. We'll fill him in with a few questions. He says he's also going to have some questions for us.
Oh,
so I hope you're ready and on your toes.
I'm so ready.
The sound quality, guys, for that one might not be great because we're going to probably do it via Zoom. So Frankie and I will probably sound normal, but I'm not sure how Don's gonna sound.
We'll practice this
We're
beforehand.
gonna do a trial this week.
So
speaking of, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Sorry, the audio last week was pretty bad. I was podcasting from the couch, and you could certainly tell.
Well, we had pictures on the Insta of you just potatoing out. So, all right. So we had some other exciting news. We had our first official COVID scare. That's not the exciting part. The exciting part is we both tested negative.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Incredible. How did you like getting your nose swabbed?
That was like the most awkward thing. Yeah. Like, I wanted to sneeze so bad.
The first nostril went fine, and then something happened with the second one.
She was like tickling my nostril in the wrong way, where I was just seriously ready to sneeze on her, and all I could think is I'm actually going to get punched in the face if I sneeze on someone getting tested for COVID.
If you're a nurse who's giving out those COVID tests, why don't you send an email to drandork@gmail.com and tell us your funniest story so far. Like the nurse who took mine said she didn't have anybody who sneezed on her yet, but she did have one girl who just couldn't stop laughing the entire time she did it.
So what else? Oh, so since last week, guys, we've had 2 other changes to our lives. One of them has been Olivia picking up the gym.
I needed to go to the gym. You know, it's just this time of year. I was thinking about it the other day, and it's like I hit peak of summer. I'm feeling my best, looking my best. I'm in my best shape. And if I could just maintain that summer situation, then I'd be gold. Every year I'd be getting just so much more fit, but every year the same thing happens. I plummet. I go back into my winter norms, and then the same cycle continues, which is fine.
So I used to be very gung-ho about working out during the winter. Like, that was I play video games and I weightlift and I don't do anything else.
Yeah.
And
are you feeling guilty now that I'm going to the gym and trying to run?
Yeah. Now, so this year I was like, well, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling the gym this winter. I have been feeling the video games. But, yeah, I haven't been feeling the gym lately. And now Olivia went and got a gym membership to the gym that I used to go to.
Yeah, we have to wear masks, which is definitely not the most fun. But
that's working out with a mask on is...
Let me tell you guys, though, I didn't rub it in his face too much earlier, but it's going to be wicked good to stick for the pod right now. But Frankie over here, Mr. Muscular, Mr. In Shape, I just about was even with him on our 200-meter row today. And I know
2,000 meters.
2,000, whatever. I could tell you were like a little bit in disbelief and didn't think that
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe you were keeping up with me on that row. I still don't believe it.
I know. I was like, he probably thinks my machine was rigged.
I was like, I feel like
I did get like a 1-minute head start while you were setting yours up.
Oh, did you?
Well, because I had already started rowing by the time you went over to yours. So
well, I came in at 8 minutes and 48 seconds, I think was my time.
I think I just got, you know what I think the difference was? I got a little extra pull at the end because I would lean back a little bit. Because I know you were pulling stronger. Because I'd look at your watts and you were always at 200 plus.
Yeah.
And I was like at 150 the whole time.
Yeah, I was cranking it. But
if you're a member of a crew team, why don't you send us an email and let us know your tips and tricks?
Yeah, that'd be nice to know because I had a buddy while I was in the service that he was a really good rower and I was just I was perpetually dumbfounded how he was just, I mean, he was tall and lanky, don't get me wrong, like he had the build for it. Yeah. It was just, I couldn't fathom a good rower. Like, just the idea of someone being good at rowing.
Like it exists. Well, it's kind of like a good swimmer.
Yeah, I guess it's,
anybody could beat me in swimming. I am the worst swimmer.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm slow, but I won't sink.
You could go for a while?
Yeah, I won't sink. I can tread water, but I can't swim fast. I get tired quick.
No.
All right, so other than that, we had a giant snowstorm hit the Northeast. You guys are all aware of it. Basically, anyone living in the North is aware of this.
I don't know. We could have some listeners in California or maybe Spain.
Spain.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
I think it's Donde está?
Where are you?
Oh, yeah, where are you, Olivia? You're in Connecticut.
Oy vey.
All right, so we had a giant snowstorm, and while we were snowed in, we decided that we would start doing puzzles.
We've already been doing puzzles for the last 2 podcasts.
Have we?
Are you for real?
I am very for real. Did we talk about this on the last
We've talked about it on the last 2 podcasts.
Have we? Oh my god, guys, I'm losing my mind.
He wrote down puzzles on a list tonight, like thinking he was wicked cool bringing it up.
I thought it was so ingenious. So,
but we've definitely puzzled more.
Yeah, so we have 3 complete puzzles, and we had bought 2 new ones.
Yeah.
And so we had what, 4 total, and then we bought 2 more.
Yeah.
So we have 2 old ones and a new one still to do.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're just kind of collecting them now.
Yeah.
We're gluing them together and just...
Do you want to buy one?
What? I'm not trying to sell my puzzle collection.
You aren't?
No.
Oh, you know what else I didn't write down on the list? I have picked up knitting.
Oh, yeah,
well,
that is
like, I already knew how to knit, but... And you know what? I tried to do, like, this fancy pattern on my scarf, and truthfully, I think I would have liked it better if I just did plain knit all the way through, which also would have been faster. And last night, I seriously considered just unraveling the whole thing and started over, but I was like, nope.
No way?
Came this far.
Oh, all right. I think that's all we have for our week in review.
Didn't you want to talk about our wines?
We are sipping on some drinks tonight.
Okay.
So
we sipped on this one last podcast too.
Did we? Time waits?
Did you have a stroke during the last podcast?
I might have suffered from
I don't think
stroke.
you didn't give a full evaluation in the name of it.
All right. So guys, this week I am drinking Time Waits for No One. It is a I'm gonna butcher this. It's a Monastrell. Is that how you say that? Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. She's got no idea. She didn't even attempt it. It's oak aged. I picked it up from a smaller store, and this gentleman, I got duped, guys. So the gentleman that runs the store, I asked him and I went, hey.
I can't believe you don't remember telling your story last week.
Did I really? I have. Oh my God.
Go ahead. Maybe people didn't listen to the last
That's okay.
pod.
Anyway, I got duped. I was looking for a sweet wine, and this is about the Sahara Desert level of dry.
Yeah, the least sweet. It's very smooth. I'll give it that much.
It's smooth, but it is dry. Yeah. And here I am a week later still drinking it because it's obviously that great.
The interesting thing about dry wines is like usually you say dry to describe like something that's just not sweet. But I find that dry wines literally make my mouth dry after I drink them. You know what I mean? Like the finish is dry.
Having just taken a swig of it, I can agree. Yes.
Okay, guys.
So what do you got going on over there?
I'll share with you my wine. My wine's more of a rosé color. It's by a company called Oliver that I'd never heard before. And it is a blueberry Moscato. So that's where we are with that. When I think of Moscatos, I think of my friend Colin from Danielle and Colin. Colin, there's no way you're listening to this podcast, but if you are, shout out.
Shout
to
out.
That time you drank too much Moscato and died. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. You want my review of it?
Yeah, how do you think it is?
It tastes like pretty much any cheap Moscato does. Sweet with like a kind of questionable aftertaste.
So would you recommend giving it as a gift?
No, I'd say it was a good choice that I decided to drink.
That is the decision with alcohol for a gift, isn't that, guys? That's do you drink it and buy another one? Because you got to know if it's a good one.
Wines are so tricky because unlike, I'd say, most hard liquors, you can get a good bottle of wine for a reasonable price.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a more expensive wine doesn't necessarily mean a better tasting wine.
The problem is, though, so I encountered this while I was in California, right? Yeah. And they have very expensive wines out there that are worth the money. And if you can, I guess if you have the palate for it.
Okay, yeah.
Which I didn't. I was out there just shotgunning tasters.
Looking to get a little buzzed.
So, but what I found after talking to a few of the people that work at the vineyards is if you know your wines, then you'll know a lot of the vineyards. And you'll know, oh, hey, this vineyard had a great year. And their Moscato's really good, or their Cab is really good, or you'll know like the years. Apparently, there's like a lot to this, and it sounds like the bougiest thing ever. Taking the time to learn what years, what vineyards made good wines.
I don't think I'm ever gonna reach that level.
No, but there are people like that. There are people at that level.
I wouldn't mind having a friend or two that's like that.
No, that'd be really good to have.
Just to sift through the information for me.
But I never realized wine was like such a crazy thing. I shouldn't even say crazy. It's such like a hobby thing, I guess I would call it. So I never realized that though until I went out to California. And now it makes me think like Europe. Like there must be some serious wine snobs out there.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Because here we are drinking our $8 bottles of wine.
Literally. I feel like we wanted to like have a little fun conversation, guys, in the front half here because we have less than usual to talk about. And Frankie's always concerned that we need to spice up the podcast with something different.
Guys, if you have any ideas about what we should be doing for the pod,
tell them the email.
The doctor and dork@gmail.com.
Damn, you got it.
I always try and throw the in there. So it's doctorandork@gmail.com,
now
guys.
tell me, can they abbreviate doctor as DR?
No, you have to spell the whole thing out because Olivia messed up our handle.
Number one, you consented to this handle. Number two, why didn't you spell it out for him?
DOCTOR.
ANDDOR.
Oh, I thought you wanted doctor.
I just wanted you to always make fun of me when I try to spell it. But I figured maybe it'd be fun to talk about some Christmas traditions since it's Christmas week. And the first one I'll ask you about is, did Santa Claus always bring you a stocking? Like, would he stuff a stocking full of little gifts?
If by Santa you mean my parents, then yes.
There might be children listening.
Oh.
Just ruined the holidays for
everyone.
I
just ruined the holidays. You better not let Sully listen. Better text your mom. Hi, Miss Costa. So, I always got a stocking every year. It was always full of like candy or cologne or like a little tiny trinket. Chapstick. That was the big one. Was chapstick.
Do they still give you chapstick?
No, I think my mom gets chapstick mostly at this point.
Yeah.
And then other than that, so what was there like any present traditions for you? Was it always stockings?
That's what I thought it was, just the stocking. Aya has like handmade stockings for all the kids, and they have like our names stitched into the top of them, and they're like big stockings, so you can fit a lot of stuff in those stockings.
So you can put like presents.
It's like honestly, I think it takes more time to open up the stocking than it takes to open up the rest of the big gifts.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's always pretty nice.
Yeah, my grandparents used to do that too.
Yeah.
But no, I think the only other like Christmas tradition we ever had. No, I'll say there were two.
Okay.
And one of them is Christmas Eve. We do a family gathering with the grandparents, aunts, and my aunt and uncle and cousins, and we do a present exchange then. Though the past few years, I think partly on my behalf, we've had to do this on like the weekend before or a couple weeks before or after, and I hope it's not just for me, but I have an inkling it's usually me, because my family's like, hey, Frankie's not going to be around for Christmas.
And then what would you do on actual Christmas?
My parents and I, specifically my father and I, would watch was it A Christmas Story?
Oh, really?
Which is played
Guys, I'm learning something new about Frankie.
So I love the Christmas Story movie.
Yeah?
It's up there with Die Hard for me. And Harry Potter. And
I don't think Harry Potter's a Christmas movie.
They literally have Christmas in every single movie. Except for like the final one. And even then it's only in one part.
Alright, continue.
Go ahead and fact check me here. They have Christmas, they have some form of holiday in every Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, okay.
The other thing, I was going back to A Christmas Story there. But yeah, my father and I would watch The Christmas Story like literally on rerun.
That's
it would just be
nice.
playing all day.
Yeah, no, for my family, we also would do like a Christmas Eve gathering with like the extended family. And then Christmas Day usually was just like being the biggest bums and lying around the house. Usually Mom would make some like overnight French toast. And then...
What's overnight French toast?
It's really delicious, actually. I wish I could make it as good as her. But you get like some of that good Italian bread, and you break it up into a bunch of pieces, and you basically make the French toast, but you let it sit overnight, so all the cinnamon and vanilla goodness really seeps into the bread, and then you bake it in the morning. And it's just so delicious.
That actually sounds amazing.
It was very good. But yeah.
What's your favorite? Give me your top 2 Christmas movies.
My top 2 Christmas movies.
Yes.
I'd
say
should
top
be easy,
3.
don't you think?
But you can even do a top 3 if it's hard.
The Polar Express is just my favorite for sure.
I know you've seen
I know the remix. You bring this up every
Polar
time.
Express dub edition, guys.
Yeah. I'm gonna end up forgetting something that's better. But The Year Without Santa Claus, it's like this 70s cartoon-ish thing.
Oh,
That's
that
what
wasn't
I had
even
on
cartoons.
last night.
That was the
like puppets or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, they had like the little miniature figurines, and I want to call it claymation.
Yeah,
but it's not claymation. It's like Dalmatian.
Yeah.
Not like the dog, but.
But I like that one. My favorite part of that one's with the Heat Miser and the Icicle Guy, and they have their little song. Those are probably my favorite too. Every year I always think I'm gonna really love Elf, and then I watch it and like it's good. I just think it's pretty like overplayed. Yeah.
Will Ferrell is hilarious in it though.
Yeah, what are your favorite 3 Christmas movies? Maybe I'll swing them on over to mine.
Oh, I already told you. It's gonna be A Christmas Story, Die Hard, and literally, I'll even go so far as to say the very first Harry Potter. Because the Christmas scene in that one was just majestic.
You don't like The Grinch?
I don't like what's his name? Carrey there?
Jim Carrey?
Yeah, Jim Carrey. I don't like him as the Grinch. I like the old animated one. That one wasn't bad. Yeah. But if we're talking my top 3, it's going to be...
doesn't make the cut.
Yeah, I'm going to say A Christmas Story, followed up by one of the Harry Potters, and then Die Hard.
What about, do you like the movie Home Alone?
I do like Home Alone. That's another very good Christmas movie.
Another overrated one. I actually don't like. I don't like a lot of the people ones. I guess like the actors.
You like the animated ones?
Yeah, it just feels more. I don't know. I think it makes me feel like I'm a kid again.
Do you remember the? I don't remember the name of the movie. It's like they had the Mountain Man in it. It was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
With the
Yeti.
Yeah, you had the Yeti.
The Abominable Snowman.
You had the.
Was it the Misfit Toys? The Island
no.
of the Misfit Toys.
No, the one I'm thinking of has a Yeti, but there's a Mountain Man who comes and like kills the Yeti or something. It's something wild.
I vaguely know what you're talking about, but I can't.
But yeah, it's all like that same claymation style.
I don't know why I love those.
But all right, guys, let's get into.
I suppose we can actually start now.
Yeah, we could do our.
Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll go first. I'll keep this going. So, guys.
Yes, Frankie.
We have the ultimate blending of fast food.
This is the most ridiculous thing.
It's the most amazing thing. We have the ultimate blending of fast food and gaming coming to us in 2021, guys.
Hashtag Merca.
So, yeah,
so
pretty
tell
much.
me there's anything more American than this.
So, guys, KFC, you heard me right, Kentucky Fried Chicken is coming out with a gaming computer, specifically a mini gaming computer.
Finger licking good?
It is, in fact, finger licking good. So they're teaming up with some gaming computer or gaming company. It's like was like Master Cooler or something.
Don't
Cooler
look at me.
Master. I don't know. Needless to say, guys, you can look this up. It's literally called the KFC console. And it's a mini computer. It's red and black, and it has a drawer that, so as the computer vents its heat off the heatsink, it heats up your chicken. You heard me right. It has a chicken drawer to heat your chicken and keep it warm for prolonged periods of time.
Are you telling me next year that's what you want for Christmas?
I'm telling you, I don't even want that for Christmas. I want that for my birthday.
Okay, done. Know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
But yeah, guys, it's you know what? I can't wait to see what Taco Bell rolls out or McDonald's.
I can't wait to see how much money. I bet it works better than Cyberpunk 2077 did, though.
Oh my god, that was. So yeah, guys, KFC is making a mini computer for gaming. Next. Guys, so 'tis the season. PlayStation and Microsoft are both running their own massive sales right now. There's all kinds of holiday sales.
So you're gonna buy us that 2-player game?
I was thinking about it.
No, you should.
So there is literally I think it's close to 60 different games that they have 80% off right now.
Wow.
So if you guys log into your PlayStation store, you'll see that. Xbox has something similar running.
Is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 80% off?
No, I don't even think that's on there.
Boo. Yeah, it is.
What? No, it's
pretty
not.
Sure.
I'll double check.
Okay.
But
you can
so
buy it for me for Christmas.
That thanks. So Xbox, the other big thing for them is they're running their pass for $31. Apparently, you can get their ultimate pass. No, for a year.
Oh.
And apparently it gives you access to all their stuff.
But you don't then, when the year's up, you don't have access anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of like Spotify. You kind of got access to the music, but it's not really yours.
Yeah.
I see.
So that's kind of cool. The next thing I kind of wanted to go over was some of the best games of 2020. Now, these aren't going to be all the games. These are just going to be the ones that I kind of cherry-picked that interest me the most. And then I'm going to ask you guys if anyone wants to call us or text us if you know us, or email us at doctoranddork@gmail.com.
Look at him go.
I want your opinion as to what I should buy next for my next, I guess, really in-depth game.
I'll let you know.
So, what we have is The Last of Us 2, which, if you're a gamer, you know The Last of Us 1 was considered the best game of all time. And the edition did great justice to the series. It was a fantastic edition. It got great reviews. The story, the graphics, the gameplay, it was all fantastic. They did everything they should have done. They took a great game and they kept it going. They didn't try and mix it up, which is I'm happy to hear that. The next one would be Final Fantasy VII Remastered. Final Fantasy VII was groundbreaking as a whole for its graphics. The whole game in general was just everything to rave about. And they remastered it, and it was fantastic.
Wow.
So I'm contemplating picking that. That's a game you could sink several hundred hours into. The next one would be Spider-Man Miles Morales, guys. This is the newest Spider-Man game. It's really for next-gen console, but they have it for the PS4 and the old Sony and old Xbox. And yeah, it's supposed to be fantastic. I'm kind of interested in grabbing it because I remember one of my first games ever was a Spider-Man game.
So it's like extra nostalgic.
And it was like, it was back on the PS2, and it was like the worst game ever, but I remember having so much fun with it.
I feel that.
Next would be Doom and Doom Eternal. Well, I guess it's technically Doom Eternal because that came out this year.
Probably don't get that one.
Doom is fantastic. It's basically the most gory, violent game you can imagine, and it's just loads of fun running through hell, killing all kinds of demons, and it's a lot of fun. Next would be Ghost of Tsushima, which I probably just butchered that, but that comes from the same people who... You've
talked about this before.
Have I?
Because I say Ghost of Sushi.
Oh. So I'm contemplating picking that up with, it's like extended edition, whatever.
You should probably get that one since you've talked about it.
I have, and I kind of want it for next gen console, which I'm still debating.
You're never gonna get
I know. I'm never getting a PS5. But it was a fantastic game. Again, it's playable. Unlike Dark Souls, which I would argue is very unplayable unless you're very into that. Yeah. You could pick up Ghost of Tsushima and actually play.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, whereas Dark Souls, you're going to die 1,000 times before you get it. Yeah, before you finally figure it out.
I see.
And the last game is one that Olivia and I can both get behind. We don't have to pay for it. It's entirely free, and it's a whole lot of fun.
It's just good, honest fun.
Fall Guys. I can't say enough good things about this game. It's colorful, it's exciting, it's kid-friendly, it's competitive for adults.
It's like hard to be in a bad mood if you're playing Fall Guys.
The music, the graphics, the gameplay, everything about it is just a lot of fun.
It's like when you think of just classic good video game, that's what you think
of. It's basically you have this little meme character and you're doing... if you guys have seen the show Wipeout, it's basically Wipeout for video games. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Olivia here even got into it for a while.
Yeah, I could pick it back up.
And, I'm debating what I really want to sink into for my next game because I'm kind of tired of Smite.
Yeah, I'm tired of watching you play Smite, so I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Well, good. If there was a better game than Smite, I would play it. There's plenty of better games. It's just, I have people to play with on Smite at least.
Yeah.
But all right, that's my segment, guys.
We made it, troops.
I know. Take it away, Olivia.
All right, I got a relatively short segment today. First, I was just going to touch on the coronavirus vaccine. As I'm sure you guys have heard, Moderna has now gotten theirs approved / emergency use authorized.
Dr. Fauci just got that.
He did. He just got this one. Yeah, they've already been shipping stuff out. They, too, have been saying they should be able to produce about 20 million doses a month. Finally, I was able to find the actual documents they submitted to the FDA, both Moderna and Pfizer. Because I was interested, I know I told you guys last week that Pfizer's vaccine had about an 82% efficacy if you only got one dose. And then I was reading other things otherwhere that I was like, oh boy, I'm going to have to go tell my listeners that was a lie. But nope, I read the documents they submitted to the FDA. Maybe the FDA, when they did their own independent analysis, they found something different, but... Anywho, Moderna's is 80.4, so once again, still pretty good for just one dose while you're waiting on the second dose.
Yeah, I think Moderna's the better vaccine.
I don't know what you're basing that off of.
I'm basing that off of it doesn't need to be stored at -80.
Yeah, it's true. It's got more reasonable storage.
I based it off of user friendliness here, because I'm not going to understand anything that goes into it.
Yeah.
And at baseline, if I don't need to store it at -80. Then I don't need special moving trucks to transport it.
Yeah.
I don't need special coolers. I don't need 8 million hospitals or, however many thousands of hospitals to all get their own negative. Who has a negative 80 cooler?
Well, new people do now, but they didn't.
You know who would have that? Basically, only the major, like the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
That'd be it. It'd be like the Mayo Clinic.
No, it is pretty wild. I know people are gonna eventually end up asking like, well, if I got Pfizer's vaccine for my first dose, can I get Moderna's vaccine for my second dose? And I was reading through Moderna's report, and it was like, as a note, like, we do not know how our dosing schedule could be used with another type of vaccine. So, unlikely is what I'm saying now.
So, can I caveat that again?
Sure.
I'm sorry to keep jumping into your segment here.
I love it.
So, I brought this up to you before, and you looked like you were ready to whack me in the head.
I would never.
So, once you have the vaccine...
Yeah.
Has anybody said anything? Like, once you get a vaccine, do I need to wear a mask? Like, is this a thing? Do I get a badge that says, hey, I'm COVID-proof?
Well, number one, yes, you're still going to have to wear a mask. Number two, you would need 2 doses before you could even try to make that argument.
Yeah.
Number three, the best, explanation I can give as to why you would need to wear a mask, and I think this will lead into a future question you're going to ask, is that, if some people are vaccinated against and some people are not, then what can happen is that, the virus can go and, mutate in somebody else and you can still get it. Even more so, the virus can go in you and you can mutate it because your body's essentially selecting for... You have certain things built up against certain strains, but you might not have it built up against every strain.
Okay. And you were right. That does lead into my last question.
Yeah.
So that is interesting, though. Sorry. It's just interesting that it can mutate faster than the vaccine gets put out.
Yeah. So you're going to ask about this new strain that's in the UK. And I tried to do some digging on this because, it would be an easy question if it was, for the flu vaccine. So most flu vaccines have 4 different strains of the virus in it.
Okay.
And that's why it's called a quadrivalent vaccine, since it's for those 4 different strains. Now, what's different, as you may or may not have heard, and which I honestly cannot give a lot of detail about, is that these coronavirus vaccines, rather than being made off of DNA, they're based off of messenger RNA.
Which, isn't that the spiky thing on, the picture of the...
I know what you're talking about, but no.
No?
So the messenger RNA basically is I'm trying to think of a good example of so say you got a new chair and you have the instruction packet on how to build it. That would be the messenger RNA. These are the instructions to build the chair, and then once the chair is actually built, that's your DNA.
Okay.
So that's the hard proof. So what's happening is, the way I understand it, is that the messenger RNA of the virus is going into you, and your body is working to basically figure out what the DNA of the virus would be and protect against that. Now, because of that, when they make the flu vaccine, they specify 4 different strains and they use the DNA of those 4 different strains. Since we're using the step before that, I don't know if there's specific RNA for each of those strains or if just one covers them all.
Wasn't there there were reports of another strain kicking around, in other parts of the world, right?
Well,
I remember one from way earlier this year.
Probably.
That people were saying there was, it was a more...
aggressive or something?
No, I guess I want to call it virulent.
Oh, it spread more?
Yeah, it spread faster, but was far less harmful. Again, guys, I'm not a doctor here. I'm just parroting shit that I've read,
I would say more than likely the vaccine is going to do its job. They have said that there's no evidence to say whether it will or won't. The other thing this is what I really don't get from the little bit of research I've done about this new strain, is that they really keep freaking out about it, but then I read a UK statement where they say there's no evidence that it is or is not more lethal than the other strains, and there's no evidence that it is or is not more contagious than the other strains.
So why
is everybody freaking out about it? I don't know.
No. I've seen several news articles that were already saying that it was more contagious.
I
also
have seen that.
Yeah, I would say I don't know if they're backed by anything because I don't understand anything in the article.
Yeah, no, the interview that I read with some actual scientists from the UK was basically we don't have any science to prove this or not. The interesting thing about the UK is that every or a lot of the samples they're getting from people who test positive from coronavirus, they're actually going through and they're sequencing and identifying which strain of the coronavirus it is.
Oh.
So that's how they know this. Whereas the U.S., we're doing that in a much smaller percentage of patients. So it'd be harder for us to realize that a new strain is there.
Well, we also have like 10 times their population.
That's true, yeah.
So
even if we do a smaller percent, it's probably still going to figure out.
Yeah, I'm sure our small percent is probably keeping up with what they're actually doing.
But long story short, I don't really understand everything about the vaccine, and
so we're gonna chalk it up to gnomes and witchcraft.
Yeah, I think why doesn't everybody just get the vaccine and then we can worry about it?
Yeah, we can worry about it after there's not COVID shutting. As soon as I can go to the gym without a mask on, then I'll start questioning this.
Good shape. Yeah. No, but to answer one of your questions from earlier, I don't know what the threshold is, but once X percent of the population is vaccinated, then we'll be able to go without masks.
Yeah, I guess now that there's a vaccine, now that there's two vaccines.
Yeah.
Like, the next logical question is, where do we go from here? And the only thing I can think of is you vaccinate everybody. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not talking the world, I'm talking America. You vaccinate America. The rest of the world will get their vaccine, I'm sure global politics, whatever.
Okay.
But what I'm getting at is, I haven't heard a solid plan yet of what comes next. Like, do we keep wearing masks for the next 2 years?
I think the reason you haven't seen any of that is because
everyone's too hesitant to say anything, or
no, it's because clinical trials are great because you're working with best case scenario. You're able to control for so many things, but that's not what's going to happen in the real world. In the real world, people are not going to get their doses exactly 21 and 28 days apart. In the real world, a nurse might only inject 2 milliliters when you needed to get the full 3 milliliters. So what they're going to need to see is how effective is it actually once we start deploying these vaccines. You know what I mean? Like, are the rates of hospitalization actually dropping? Like, are less people getting infected? Because if not, we're probably going to wear the mask forever.
Yeah, that's... I mean, let's be realistic here. You go to a place like China, and the smog problem was so bad over there, they were already wearing masks.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't a change of lifestyle. I can't imagine living with a mask for the rest of my life.
We'll be the last generation that really ever knew life before masks. That's a terrible thought to think about. Let us move along.
Yeah.
I'll make my last two quick. They are pretty quick anyway. One, I was on this random website and found this, which I'll look more into for future, but I read that Imodium or loperamide, which is an anti-diarrheal drug, has been found in cell cultures to help kill glioblastomas, which are like the cells that cause spinal and brain cancers.
Oh, so
isn't that interesting?
All the Imodium I've been eating.
You're good. You're not gonna get brain cancers, but I got it.
Yeah.
So they haven't done any actual clinical or even preclinical trials, but when they look at cells in the lab, they're finding that. So it could be a pretty cool new way for research. So
Imodium is turning out to be a win-win.
Yeah. Right.
You're not going to poop your pants or get brain cancer.
And the last one I quickly read, actually, while I was upstairs, and you can tell me if you read this. Did you see that the U.S. is suing Walmart for their plight in the opioid epidemic?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, the Trump administration is actually suing them, and they're saying that despite pharmacists putting red flags out to administrators that there were too many opioids being prescribed by certain doctors, that they ignored those signals and just said, basically, keep filling the scripts.
Well, we'll have to look up more into this, but I'm pretty sure the family that's like in charge of that, whatever, the whole opioid crisis that got sued.
Yeah, they got sued a bunch of money.
Well, they got sued for a bunch of money, but they're basically just paying out, and how it pandered out, because NPR, I remember, was talking about this, and how it ended up panning out is they don't have to admit fault at all. They're not, they basically said, hey, we'll pay out like a few $1 billion. But
we're not saying it's our fault.
But it's not our fault, and...
No.
Which... which is crazy to me, because if you're paying out
like
money,
going to jail but saying you're innocent. Like, okay, I'll go to jail, but I'm innocent.
Like, okay, I'll pay your fine, but I'm innocent. Like, well, you wouldn't be paying a fine if you were innocent. Like,
no, that whole I have a lot of mixed feelings about that whole situation, but it's very interesting.
We can get into that another pod.
Yeah,
maybe we can ask Don about it.
Yeah, we can.
He might know a little something.
He might have an opinion.
Hey, Don, can't wait to see you in a couple episodes.
He also might not want to give his biased opinions on the podcast.
Ah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
But yeah, I think that's all we got. This is going to be a really long podcast.
I know. This ended up being a lot more fun. So, all right, guys. Well, have a fantastic Christmas. We'll talk to you before New Year's. Right? Will we?
Yes. Yeah, we have one because then the one after is the 30th.
Yeah. So we'll talk to you before New Year's,
Maybe
guys.
We'll bring up our New Year's resolutions with you guys next week.
But all right. That's all I got. How about you, babe?
That's all I got.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Later.